Peace and love, family. I am here today. Almost was late, kind of late, actually. um, this is all new. This website, this page, this event. This is my second live session. Um, Life counseling, life coaching with Soleah Rayne. Had a few dilemmas trying to get started, so please bear with me. It's a little warm in here. My setup is a little off. It feels a little off. Um, Need a few things, but I'm gonna stay put. So peace and love, peace and love. How's everybody doing out there? How are you? Let me see. Can I get my screen to go off here? Always concerned about the light in my glasses. I do realize that people like to see my eyes at times, so the glasses kind of shield them behind the screen there. But anyway, peace and love. I'm going to be very candid today, very straight up. Um, the topic is friendship over lovers. Now, which is most important to the development of your actual being and the path that you're on in life? This is a discussion for us today. So come on in. I'm going to take my time. This is an hour session, life coaching with Soleah. A lot of people actually um, have many dilemmas when it comes to relationships. We don't know what to do or what level to keep it on when it comes to, do we want to keep them in the friend zone? Do we want to let them know that I'm open to something more, that we can develop? But why is it important to understand which is important first and foremost before you embark upon this journey? It's a good question. So let's talk about this. Now, one thing that we have to also consider when we encounter individuals, whether it's male, female, friendships, whatever level of intimacy that you'd like to take it to, the best thing to do is to know what you want to become. What can that person help you become? And what can you help that person become? What will you become together? What power will you gain? It's not about necessarily what can you give, what can you take, or what can they give and what can they take. Because sometimes it's imbalances that are there based on someone looking at, oh, they got money, they got a house, they got a car, they got this, they got that, or they're popular, or they're smart, they're whatever. And sometimes we're looking at the wrong stuff. But honestly, every individual that comes to our life is in our life for a particular purpose. It's hard to believe sometimes, even those bullies that we encounter, even those individuals that seem to not mean us any good, that mean boss that you call an a-hole all the time. Sometimes it can be that they are in your life for a reason. There's a lesson that you're about to learn, and you're going to grow in some way, form, or fashion. So imagine where you are before you meet that individual, and even the aspirations you may have or the goals that you may want to accomplish. And then all of a sudden, this magical individual pops up in your life. And it's like, wow, I'm on a roller coaster ride. This is fun. You're awesome. You're cool. You're wonderful. Wow. And sometimes it's like we think about one aspect of the relationship, you know, and it's sometimes, what can I get from this situation, or how can I make this the best situation possible? And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm very comfortable. I'm in a different environment than what I'm normally in, so excuse me if my leg is up. But this is something that, like I said, many of us experience and many of us question. What is the purpose of interacting with someone? Do I want to pursue a love relationship just because the other gender? Doesn't mean that it's always meant to be that love relationship. Okay, so sometimes the friendship actually outweighs becoming lovers. So I would love for people to grasp this concept. Friendship is always, always, always most important, because you never know where you're going to meet that person in the future. And one thing that happens when people attempt to start relationships and have lovers in their lives, and of course, the three-letter word gets involved: sex. Yes. What if it breaks up? What if you break up and it ends badly, or neither of you are satisfied or enjoying each other? And then where do you go from there? It's going to be awkward to still interact with each other, right? So it's best to actually be the best of friends. Get to know that individual. Get to know their likes, dislikes, ups, downs, ins and outs of interacting with them. How do you feel when you're around that person? Just because you may feel a little easy, rested, relaxed, comfortable, they're easy to talk to, and so forth, does it really mean that that's a partner for you in the future? Um, you never know. If you don't get to see all sides of that person, that 360 circle, then there may be something hidden there that you're going to be afraid of in the future. Like, you're like, how did I get myself up in this situation? So this is something, one thing I posted on the discussion here for the event was, what would you, what's the first thing that you need to consider when you're about to go to war? Something, I'm paraphrasing it, something like that. If you were against an enemy in your life, a situation came in your life, and you could not face it alone, what is the first thing you wish you had? And it's not a weapon, it's not a gun, it's not a knife, it's not any type of defense per se. The first thing that you would always look for when you find yourself in trouble is an ally. Who can you call on to help you in your situation? Who can you call on to be by your side, even if it's an emotional internal war that you're going through with yourself? A lot of times you want that best friend. You want that confidant that you can call on and say, "Oh my God, can you help me? I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling like I don't know which way to turn." But if all you got, if the only numbers you have in your phone are fuck buddies and past lovers and exes and people you were in relationships with and you no longer speak to, and that's going to leave you in a place of loneliness and dejection and stuff. So don't always think that people have that one purpose in your life. Find ways to make friends and keep friends no matter what happens, as far as the next level and the next level and the next level. If you establish that foundation of friendship, and the loving type of friendship where you truly care about them and they truly care about you, that will get you a lot further in life. And you can always, it'll make you feel more alive and more whole. It makes you feel more complete. Honestly, that's the word I'm looking for. More complete, to say that you have an actual friend, a confidant, someone that you could see out in the street, whether you've seen them in months or whatever. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Whether they're with somebody else or you're with somebody else, it's not always that awkward interaction. And one thing that we also must consider when it comes to the same gender, we have females that seem to want to be in competition all the time, or you have males that maybe they pretend to be a friend to a guy just because they know they want to get close to a woman that might be in the circle or in the mix of that. You'd be surprised why people embark upon friendships or relationships or stick together. It's not always about what you're going to receive. And sometimes you want to consider, what can you offer them? If they can't get anything from you, then they may not stay very long. So there's a give and take, there's a balancing act. But that synergy, the only way that something can be created from the interaction is if you both are putting something in. Your energy is coming from both directions, and you'll both be able to come out of it new individuals. You become, it's like a whole magical creation from your interaction, from you showing up completely, completely showing up and being who you were created to be authentically makes a big difference. So don't always rush to get in the bed with somebody or want to hold hands and want to be out in public kissing and this and that, thinking that that's all it is or that's all it should be. But that friendship over being lovers is most important. Okay. Now, one thing I want to also say, there's a quote I put on the page as well. I wrote it down to see. When we meet on this physical plane, it's not just about the opportunity of receiving or the opportunity of giving to somebody, but it's an opportunity to see who we can become together. Who can we become? How can we be made different? What changes will be made on this plane of existence because I've interacted with this individual, because I've met this individual? The brother Heal and Reveal does several lives a day, honestly, and I do catch a few of them here and there. He said something earlier today that it really hit home with me. He said we need to, um, what did he say? Effect the change at the roots. When we decide that we want to make a difference in somebody's life, or we want to even change our own world, our own lives, it's best to start at the root of an issue. So at the very first instance that you meet somebody, always consider that, well, okay, the universe, you want to know what thoughts led to this interaction. He said, and I should have written it down. I was sitting in my car, well, somebody's car. I was sitting in a car when I was watching him earlier today. It wasn't mine. But he said, before an idea becomes a thought, and before a thought becomes an experience, it's best to know exactly where it's going. First and foremost, he said, you want to effect the change, you want to make a difference, you want to know what's going on at the source of it before that thought becomes an idea, and that idea becomes an experience, and you're out doing something because it sounded good, it looked good, it felt good, and then you find yourself in a world of trouble, and you're like, uh-oh, what just happened? Let's backtrack now. And they say 2020, hindsight is 2020, that you can see after you've gone through something, 2020 vision, but you actually can see prior to something becoming what it is if you know how to examine a thing thoroughly. And one thing I've always talked about is plants and seeds and trees and so forth. The actual apple tree is inside of the apple seed. So when you figure in what actually is going on, when you interact with a new individual, when you begin a new relationship, whether it's going to be a friendship or you're dating or getting married or whatever level, see what that seed represents. Examine the seed before it's even planted. So make the change. See the difference at the conception of it, at the inception of that thought or that idea, and say, okay, if I move forward with this idea, where will it lead me? Be 10 steps ahead of your enemy, 25 steps, 10 years down the road. Plan your exit before you even open the door, before you even turn the knob. Know every window, every door, every opening to that house that you're about to go in, because if it becomes a burning house, Dr. Martin Luther King said, I fear that I have led my people into a burning house. Did he examine all the exits? Did he examine where the windows were and how far high, how above the ground he was before he went in that house? Probably not. So sometimes it's best to know what you're embarking upon beforehand, and friendship lasts much longer than courtship, than many people's marriages, and then a lot of the different interactions we think are very important. You know, even business partnerships. I'm talking about business. Even business partnerships. That's that country southern talk coming out of me, okay? But business partnerships can start off very lucrative. Everybody's so intelligent, everybody's so ready, everybody's gung-ho with a lot of energy and interactions and so forth. But if you only keep it at that business interaction and something goes sour, they'll be ready to cut your throat in a heartbeat. But when you become best of friends, you have that level of respect for each other, that level of um, integrity and intimacy on, like, you feel like family from day one. You feel like, I will go to war for this individual. I will be there to my last breath. And I can feel and trust and know that they will be there for me. Then you know you have something solid. So I don't know who this is for. I feel that the universe needs to hear this. We have a lot in the media, and I promise you, I'm not turning a deaf ear or a blinded eye on what's going on. Oh my God, I know there's so many people suffering out there. There's so many things going on, so much pain, so much hurt. We have people harvesting young children's organs, where it's in the news that this young boy was found dead and some of his organs were missing. I saw that. The video was sent, somebody sent it to my inbox on on Facebook Messenger. My heart goes out to the family. That's a tragedy. Okay? We know that there are hungry people out there. There are starving people. There are homeless individuals. So many homeless. It's like a record high. And we know that stuff is going on in the government that many people feel powerless against. But what I have to share, it may seem very minute, but in order to affect the macrocosm, which means the biggest, largest arena of life that we can imagine, we must also see the microcosm. And in order to make a change in the world, you have to be willing to change within, first and foremost. The smallest aspect of your mindset, your life, your individual thoughts and actions can cause a ripple effect. And if enough of us know the right path to go, or the right way to go, or even if we even understand ourselves to a point that we can affect the change in the future, or we can teach our children differently, and the outcome would be much different from where we are right now. Because the way that the world has become is only the product of the way that we have been throughout generations. The way our parents were, the way our grandparents were, the way things were left undone, the way the lessons were left untaught has caused us to be in this state that we're in right now. So don't just take these topics for granted. Don't just look and say, oh, she's just rambling, she's just talking about some random stuff. No, I get my direction from source, from the creator itself that resides within me. And there was an analogy that I shared in a group today. It was about the rainbows. You know, a lot of times we show up to life and we feel that our place in life is insignificant, or we feel that we must look at somebody else and hold them up in high esteem and say, I'm going to follow you because you have all the answers. You are very intelligent. You are very knowledgeable, and you seem to have it all together, and I don't know enough. That's okay for you to understand what you don't know, but it's not okay to not value the things that you do know as being important enough to present to the table and to bring to others to help grow them. Sometimes people don't even say the smallest thing that they think because they feel it's not important, or no one's going to value their words because somebody's using all these big words and saying these big paragraphs of things and concepts and ideas. But they want to say, you got to watch your back. They might say, always have somebody to watch your back. It could be a simple phrase, a simple idea, and they hide it. They keep it to themselves when the next person that was in that company goes outside and they just start walking down the street and they get attacked from behind. If that one individual could have said those very words as words of wisdom to say, y'all, let's remember to watch our backs before we go. Let's all keep this in mind. We got to watch our backs. They could have saved a life. But no, just because it wasn't, oh yes, the sky is this and the, as above, so below, and as the spiritual and the natural, and somebody is speaking big, major sentences or whatever, they think that their voice is not going to be heard. But what I said, the analogy that I gave was the colors of the rainbow. I think it's 7. It's Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Yes, it's 7 different colors that create the spectrum of the rainbow. So if an individual is coming with some powerful, fiery red energy and taking over the conversation or the discussion and always got something profound to say, my fiery red book, I really love this poetry book. And others are like, yeah, that's nice, that's powerful. You got the message today, sister. That doesn't mean that your blue, your cool, calm blue is not as powerful or is not as pertinent in the discussion. Bring what resonates with you. Bring what makes you feel alive. If your violet is sparkly and glowing with knowledge and with intuition, bring that. The yellow, the green, the different areas, Another good analogy. And this is all on why friendship is important, why we must create allies, why we must create individuals who we can rely on and we can trust in and whom we can stand up for and show them that we have their back. Because too many times we feel that we must be the boss, we must be the leader, or either we're going to follow somebody else and let them call all the shots, and we sit back and be lazy half the time. It's really easy to follow because you don't have to do too much. Yeah, somebody's going to think for me, somebody's going to make the arrangements, somebody's going to lay this out, give me the directions, 1 2 3. Okay, that's what I got to do. Real easy, real simple. It takes energy and effort to be a leader, but let us know that all of us are leaders in some way, form, or fashion to some degree. And so there's this analogy I gave to a client of mine earlier in the week. If you have 100 people that have made this large circle in this open space, and in the center of that circle is this multi-sided shape item that's really big. Maybe it's a full mile or yard or half, I don't know, dimensions, whatever, kilometers of diameter. There, maybe it's a hexagon or octagon shape, but it's got different sides to it and it's doing all kinds of stuff. It's a color up here and texture down there and rocks on one side and trees on another side, and it's something that is in the middle that only certain sides can see certain parts of it. So if you got 100 people circled around this object and we're looking at it to try to figuring what it is, every individual's perspective will be just as valuable to the collective as the others. So not just one person will be able to say, okay, you guys, this is what we have here. We're looking at this hexagonal, octagonal shape that with the trees and with the crystals and the mountains and this and that, and this is what we're going to do with it. No, sometimes it's not that cut and dry. You need to give your perspective, because where you're standing and viewing, only you can see that particular angle at that moment. And the person that's over here, they can see it from that angle at that moment. And the person over here can view it. So everybody's position is very important. So let's find that strength in friendship and being comrades and knowing that we have something solid and we can still have that level of intimacy on down the line. But the foundation of it must be that trust, that initial, it's a certain type of love, the agape love, the philia love. It's like different levels of love that exists that people talk about in the church arena and so forth. But let's not always look to see what we can get from somebody else. Of course, there's going to be an exchange of energy when you're meeting new people, when you're interacting with others. And even for the people that have been in your lives for a long time, oh my goodness, it's a whole nother topic. Because what if you have to come to the realization that you have to break off a friendship? You've been friends since childhood, and you wake up one day and realize this person only comes around when they need some money or they don't have enough food in their kitchen and they know I cooked. That's the only time I'm going to see this particular friend. It's probably time to realize that you're being drained. If you get it to the point where you're being drained, but if it's not something that you're being drained on, and you're like, well, I got extra. I always like to cook a lot anyway, so they're keeping me from having to eat leftovers tomorrow. Maybe that's something that you're going to work out within yourself. But if it comes to a point where someone is destroying you, they're pulling so much from you and not pouring back into you, sometimes it's best. This is what Brother Heal and Reveal said today. He said, take the word best off of the friend. Sometimes they'll say, it's best to say that they're just your friend. Maybe they're not your best friend anymore because they're not on that level anymore. You can't live in the past. And it's just so wonderful to see the practitioners and those that are going live. I was listening to a couple of lives just a second ago because I do want to support my other fellow energy readers and life givers and light workers and so many different titles that we all go by. And I don't want to just always focus on me. I know I have my little thing that I'm doing, but it's only a piece of the puzzle. It's only from Soleah's perspective. I'm shining my light as bright as I know how from where I sit, from where I stand, from where I reside. But there are so many people that can do more things in other dimensions and other diameters, the other ways than what I even know. I can't even conceive of some of the stuff that people are doing out there. And it's an honor. It is an honor to be called a friend. It is an honor. But yeah, so what is a lover? What is that individual? Yeah, y'all dated. Yeah, you this and that. You had whatever. But to truly be called a friend, that's more valuable than anything. So it's good if you do have a lover that is your best friend. You have a jewel. Make sure you appreciate them. Make sure you show them your appreciation and your love and your respect. Respect is very much important as well when you're interacting with other individuals. Now, I want to say a couple last things. I'm not sure about my time because I let my screen go off. The light was bothering me. As usual, one of these days I'm going to take these glasses off and go back to contacts. But one thing in life that is very important is having that balance. A lot of times we don't know how to balance things out. We can look at things as only two-sided. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. And I don't know why we feel that that's the only way to see something. To see, okay, I've only been on 30 minutes. Okay, so this is something that, I guess with a lot of religious beliefs and so forth, we are taught as children, or really in school, education wise, it's either right or it's wrong. And sometimes it's not so cut and dry. I notice a lot of my foreign friends that I encounter, they talk about the multiple choice test that the Americans have. Yeah, y'all Americans have too many multiple choice tests. Everything's always multiple choice. And that gives you the option, and sometimes you can look up on the right answer and not even know anything about it. But they were saying that they write essays for every single test. Everything is an essay question. So in order to prove, you have to show and prove, even if you say the right answer. The teacher wants you to show your work and prove exactly, break it down. And so that's what life is about. It's more than just saying a yes or a no. It's more than just saying, oh yeah, you're right. Oh no, you're wrong. It's not that simple. Life is about understanding and integrating the different sides and making a whole. Okay, so when it comes to friendship, it's good to know the links that you can go. I wanted to read a poem. That's why I have this book. I'm not going to read the whole thing because this particular interaction is not about promoting my poetry. It's not about promoting the books that I've published. Yes, I'm a published author, but I'm also a life coach. I know that there are those that may not be able to afford the sessions with me, but they have a need. So if you can come and you can be consistent to watch these videos that I'm doing for free, if you're able to send a donation whenever you have the money, this is for these individuals. Because I know that the collective must rise. And we can only rise as high as the one that's lowest to us becomes. Because, we're only as strong as our weakest link. And I don't want to call anybody a weak link. That's why I said the ones that's lowest on the ladder. The whole ladder can rise, the levels can rise, get higher and higher as the one on the bottom rung continues to move up. So for those of us that are suffering, honestly, I feel your pain. I'm in the same boat as you sometimes, in many different areas. So this is what I'm doing this for. Some people may even need professional help and counseling and therapy and everything, but they're afraid to admit it. They would be embarrassed to even call someone, to even ask for help. So, Soleah, this is me. I'm reaching out to you, into you. If you're opening up to me, I can reach in. But of course, an energy exchange would be necessary in some cases, depending upon the level of work that needs to be done. So, of course, if you can donate, donate. If you can't, no big deal. So, this last stanza of this poem titled Missing You, a lot of times, let me see, can I get this on camera? Missing You. This is in my very first book, the only book that really has pages, I believe. This is page 33. And the last 4 lines says, why did we not seize every moment we once had? Why did I think that you could never leave me? Why have you been the only key to my happiness? Why did you think I could never sad be? Yeah, I wrote this some years ago, so it's really cheesy. But a lot of times we take relationships for granted. We take interactions with others for granted because we're looking at it from one perspective only. And a lot of times, yeah, granted, we can only see it from our perspective. The way our minds are channeling at the moment, that's all we can see. We have that tunnel vision. Okay, but after the facts, when that person is gone and you wish like that person was so sweet or she was so nice or he was really cool to be around, and I just was thinking that I wanted somebody to be in love with, and I wanted this and I wanted that, so I brushed them to the side while I pursued another relationship, or while I said that, oh, they hang around this individual too much and they might have something going on, so I don't want to be a part of that, or I don't want to interact with them. If they were willing to be your friend, hold on to that, because you never know how sad you'll be without them. And I bring up this topic, this section of the topic, for a specific reason. This is in no way to embarrass anybody or to put any situation down as whatever. I have different people I interact with, and as I do not call your names and don't share your personal identities, you know who you are. And it's just, I feel sometimes it's good to share certain things. And if it's not from your own lips, it's good to have it shared from someone else's lips, because it's still a message that someone needs to hear. And my heart just really goes out. So with that being said, there was a brother that I befriended, a friend of ours. We had a mutual friend between us who introduced us. We went out on a couple of dates. He was such a gentleman, even bought me flowers. And be careful, Timmy. Okay, so the situation was, he liked me a lot. I liked him a lot. But there was another man that he felt that I had a questionable interaction with. So he backed off. He stopped calling me, stopped answering my calls, stopped responding to my text messages. And I saw him as the best friend in the world. And I really enjoyed his company. I had already told him I don't know where my future lies in being in relationships and stuff. I've been married, I have children, I'm trying to get on my feet. I'm in such a situation that I really can't focus on relationships, a love relationship, and being partnered up and booed up. I feel like I'm past that stage in my life of being booed up. I I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with all of humanity, all at the same time. So the brother stopped dealing with me. Okay. He's had various challenges in his life. I've attempted to be a friend during the little bit of interactions that we had. We've only known each other for a short time. But the thing about it is, he called me this past week, a couple days ago, or whatever day it was. And unfortunately, different things happened in his life. And before I tell too much of the detail, I will go back in time and say I can count on probably both hands and both my feet on how many men, young men, teenagers, people I've met in college, people I've met through my adult life. Timmy, please. You're shaking my video. Thank you. So often I interact with these individuals and then they go off to be with another woman. I've had men who've gotten married and the wife tried to kill them. They put the wife in jail and then they come back to me and say, yeah, I should have stayed with you. We were dating, we were hanging out, and then I ran off because I thought I was in love with this woman. She turned out crazy. She tried to kill me. She's in jail right now. I got custody of our children. And I look at them like, okay, so sorry to hear that. You know, hindsight is 2020 in some cases, and sometimes we get past these situations and still don't realize that we had something good. And I'm in no way trying to pump myself up, because I feel that I have so much to learn about life and so much growing and maturing still to do, that what can I offer another individual when I need so much at this stage in my life? You know what I'm saying? So I would always just look at the situation for what it is and like, okay, you didn't want me. That's point blank, period. You didn't want me then. So just because you were like done with this woman or that woman or whatever, now you want me, or now that you, even for the situation of the guy, I can't say that he was dealing with another female or if that was why, whatever. Sometimes people see a mirror of themselves in the other person. What they know that they would normally do or attempt to do, they project that energy onto someone else. So that could be kind of what happened also. But anyway, I've had so many people to come back to me saying that they wanted to try a relationship with me because they went and ghost on me. I've had so many people go ghost. But what I'm saying here is that friendship above anything is so valuable, because you keep that thread of life between you still strong and still alive, and you can create almost anything. I know many of you have seen the picture, the picture on my page where I have this gold scarf, and I made it from a spool of yarn. I bought this little thing of yarn, and you take it and you start with the little chain, and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then you end up with this garment, with this scarf. Okay, that's how friendship is. You can weave the string of friendship and make it the most beautiful garments. You can make it the most beautiful tapestry. If you make quilts, or if you make hats or whatever, it can be a string of yarn or a string of thread or a string of anything. But you can make something out of it if you allow it to be just as it is and know that what it is by itself is very valuable. But anyway, sometimes we can see a single thread out of place. Whether you have a shirt on and then you see like a piece of string and you rip it out, You may rip a hole into that shirt. Sometimes we have the hems loose on certain garments and that whole hem can come undone. Or if it's something that's crocheted and you pull the string and the whole thing just goes back to being a straight string, you done unravel the whole blanket. That's what happens in people's friendships and relationships. Sometimes we see one little problem and we destroy the whole entire thing. But with this, Timmy, please be still. You're shaking everything. With this friendship that I'm speaking of, that I brought up, I've been on this health journey of being very healthy, sharing knowledge with others about eating right, taking care of your body, and how I've lost a lot of weight. I used to be really big. In my book, I was huge, and I'm still kind of big, and I want to lose still more weight because I want to tone up, of course. But anyway, I was sharing information with the brother. We'd go out on our little dates. We talk on the phone. And sometimes people don't want to hear about being a vegan. People don't want to hear about making fruit smoothies or eating your greens or juicing your greens. People don't want to hear about that. Drinking alkaline water. Oh, she's so boring. She's so this. I'm going to eat my steak. And oh, yeah, I had me some chicken salad or chicken whatever, tetrazzini. But the brother ended up having an issue with his foot. And of course, as we all go through different situations in our lives, other problems were more important to pay attention to than what was going on in his body. So he ended up getting his foot cut off. And it's very sad, but I'm not saying that to dump on him. I know he just recently subscribed to my page, God. But I love the individual so much that I just feel that it may not be time for him to speak, but I don't know who this could help getting the knowledge out that if somebody is in your life, whether you feel that you can benefit from them being in your life or not, you want to say that, oh, well, she got something going on with another guy and I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know. So I'm going to step back. I'm not going to answer her calls. I'm not going to listen to her. I'm not going to talk to her. Sometimes the universe just wants you to get the knowledge that they have to share with you. But even when he told me the situation of what happened in the hospital and how they first cut one toe off, then they cut the rest of the toes off, then they end up cutting the foot off. Oh my God, I was so hurt. And I was like, all they could have done, they could have done this, they could have done that. With the different medical knowledge that I have, I probably couldn't have just literally saved his life. But as we had gone along, there was a friend that he said that initially found him warm and said that he had a fever. She was like, we're going to check your temperature and we're going to see what's going on because you feel hot. And his temperature was 102. And yes, he was hot. He went to the doctor. He made a doctor's appointment. Then the doctor sent him straight to the emergency room. And then the emergency room, they were like, call your people. You're going to go into surgery. So if I was that friend that took his temperature, maybe I could have helped him get better before they cut his foot off. I don't know. I really don't know what could have happened. But I just want to say that quit always thinking for everybody. Even this is for me. I'm going to watch this video in the future. My future self will thank me for this, honestly. Don't always seek to capitalize off of an interaction with somebody and only want to say, well, she don't want to date me, or she might be a player, or she might be this type of woman or that type of woman. I just wanted a friend. I'm new to the area. I don't have very many friends. So I wasn't looking to marry this guy. We hung out. We went to a couple spots or whatever. And he liked me, but he wanted something that he perceived to be his only option. So for those of you, even those that are always inboxing me and trying to video call me randomly, it's pulling too much of my energy. If I say I'm busy, I'm busy. but know that I value your presence in my life. It's not that I'm writing you off as nothing to me. I value all of the individual interactions that I have. I see the God in everybody. I see the Creator in everybody that I interact with. But for those of you who mean me no good specifically, I will cut you off and there will be no sewing back on. So, this is what this is about. Please value friendship above anything. And in the future, if it is created into something greater and woven into something more beautiful, so be it. So be it. But if you do not allow the universe to present the full scope of that interaction to you and make it known to you why you're there in their life and why they're there in your life, there can be so many struggles and problems that will come about that you could have avoided. Even with the situation, the brother was, he could have been helpful to me because honestly, the situation that he was looking at as far as my interaction with the other brother, that was not such a positive interaction. And I found that out the hard way on my own. But he could have been a friend to me to open up and say, Soleah, I don't trust this brother. I don't trust the way he treats you, the way he talks to you. You know, maybe you should chill on that note. And I was like, oh, well, you know, he's nice to me or he's this and that or whatever. And I was all positive about it. But because he did not return my text messages, he went ghost on me for months, for weeks, whatever. I lost out and possibly he lost out. I'm not saying that, oh yeah, because you stopped talking to me, you got your foot cut off. No, in no way am I saying that. That is a far stretch. But I could have had some knowledge. I don't know. But you never know. So getting off of that, I just want people to realize how serious it is when you ask the universe for something. If you want some chocolate milk or hot chocolate and you're not willing to let the water boil, if you want some tea and you're not willing to let the water boil and get hot to let the tea bag steep or whatever, then you're not going to get your tea. The outcome, the outcome is not going to be fruitful if you're not willing to go through the process. That's what this is about. There are levels to life. There are stages to relationships. Let friendship be the most important aspect of your relationship, of any interaction with another individual. Okay. My son was telling me I have 10 minutes. But it looks like I missed my crowd again this week. Last week, because I'm going live in this actual event. Maybe people are failing to find it or failing to see it. I'm going to have this on YouTube and post it to my website. So, y'all excuse me for the space here. It's a little different from where I'm normally located and having the light a certain way. And, you know, it's not about the messenger. It's not about what you're seeing. Hopefully what you're hearing will spark something within you. So this is Life Coaching with Soleah Rayne from Soul Lunar Essence. And it's just my goal and my intention to shine the light that's within me. The knowledge and the information that I have that I can share with somebody. I don't even know where life ends for me. What if I'm not here tomorrow? What if the knowledge and the information and the warnings and the messages that I have inside of me to give to you dies with me? That will be such a tragedy. I know so many individuals who have left this earth and took their knowledge with them, that took their power with them, that took their strength with them. So I vowed a long time ago to live my life. And when I take my last breath, I will leave here fully empty. of that essence that the Creator put inside of me. I'm not here to just sit back and take from other people and just live my life and be happy go lucky and go, you know, live the most mediocre existence, the most mundane existence that I could possibly muster up. But if my value is in the words and the knowledge and the love that I can share to someone else, then I will have lived the purpose for which I have been created at whatever point I take my last breath. So, peace and love to each of you out there. It is my desire to give. And if you have any energy to share, any energy to exchange, I am open to receive as well. Thank you for viewing my video. Thank you for your comments, for your love that you do give in return. Thank you so much. And instead of namaste, I say solar essence, because this is my attempt to awaken the energy of the sun and the moon, of the cosmos within you. Let your solar essence shine. Be the vibrant individual that you are, whatever color of the spectrum that you represent. Life is not just about black and white. That's what this book, when I first wrote this book, I published this in 2007. I happened to turn exactly to the title piece, Universal Words of Color. I will read this. It says, in the beginning was the Word, but in the middle, the Word creates life. In the end will still be the Word, for it transcends time and space. For the many hues and silhouetted creations of paintings contrived, through the spelling of this blissful communication wand, are but the masterpieces of 1,000 soliloquies conjured in the mind. The word brings with it all the systems, organs, tissues, cells, molecules, and atoms that give it the power to create the colorful rainbows of existence from itself. Spoken word, heard word, thought word, and meditated word make up the ancestors to the created word, which is birthed from the words that made the universe. So life is about the rainbows, more so than just the black and the whites. And I have this color, this shirt says black is my happy color, because it comprises of all the colors. I like this shirt. But anyway, life is about multiplicity, not singularity only. You know, you have those instances where there's singularity, but know that you can build upon anything that you allow to continue. But if you turn it off, if you cut off the friendship, you can't build on it. So, peace, love, wholeness, happiness, joy. Solar essence. Thank you.